Hello everyone, welcome to Formula Story. In this video I'll be discussing a foolproof approach which will help you all to crack the XAT. So let's begin. Let us first understand how this XAT paper is structured. As per the instructions that is given on their website, they've said that the pattern's gonna remain the same as last year. So last year we had about 24 questions in verbal ability, 27 questions in quants, 21 questions in decision making, and there were 25 questions in GK, and we had one essay. Now the whole paper is divided into two parts, as you can see here. Part 1 is verbal, quants and decision making, and part 2 is GK and essay. For the part 1 we have a total time of 170 minutes, and for the part 2 we have a total time of 40 minutes. And the total number of questions, as you can see, there are 72 questions in all. Now for the verbal ability, a good score would be 12 out of 24. As we know that each question is awarded 1 mark. So a good score would be 12 out of 24. For quants, a good score would be 16 out of 27. And for decision making, a good score would be 12 out of 21. For GK, even if you get a score of 5 to 6 marks, it shall suffice because it's not that big a concern. The part 2 of the paper, which is GK and essay, shall be considered in the second stage of your evaluation, like during the GDPI process. And I think it doesn't carry more than 5% weightage, so you need not worry much about it. Just make sure you attempt both of them in a decent manner and don't screw it up absolutely. Now, as we know that we have 1 mark per question, and if you get one question wrong, 0.25 marks are deducted. And if you tend to leave more than 13 questions out of the 72 questions, then the subsequent questions will have a deduction of 0.05 marks. But that shouldn't be much of concern because the effect is negligible. As we can see, just 1 by 20 marks is what is getting deducted for leaving one question. So that's absolutely fine. So as I said, this is a perfect sectional score, and overall you should aim for around 40 marks, because that will not only help you get the call, but will even increase your chances of, converting the call. 40 marks is roughly around 98.5 to 99 percentile, which is a pretty good percentile, and you can, increase your chances of converting the call of XLRI. Now let's go section by section. The first section is the verbal section. What I would recommend you all is to buy these two, download these two books online. You would be able to get it from some or the other website. The first book is RC 99 by Aristotle, and the second one is Manhattan Book of GMAT for the critical reasoning. These two books are really good, especially RC 99. It is divided into 99 passages, out of which 33 are easy, 33 are medium, and 33 are difficult. What I would recommend is to solve these 66 medium and hard RCs, and you can do about 3 passages per day. Why I would recommend this book is because each RC passage is given in a really good manner. Like the explanation that you get after each RC for each and every question is really good. Like they've explained why each option of a particular question in RC is wrong and why the correct answer is correct, which helps you all to develop that understanding which is required in RCs. Moreover, most of the questions which are there in this book are inference and logic based, which is what we'll expect in XAT. In XAT you can't expect direct questions like you have in, say, in MAT or IIFT. The questions are going to be logic based. You'll have to think a lot. Hence, you'll have to solve them properly, and this book will help you to, hone your reasoning skills in the reading comprehension section. And the Manhattan Book of GMAT for critical reasoning is pretty good. They've provided a few good strategies so as to ace up at this section. And just go through a few questions and the strategies in this book. It'll help you for the critical reasoning section. Now the number of questions, there are basically 12 RCs. Basically 50% of the paper is covered by the reading comprehension. There are 6 questions on critical reasoning, and both of these will, you can solve these questions if you refer the above to resources. Now there are 4 grammar and vocab based questions. I won't suggest you to work much on it. Like even if you practice hardcore grammar and learn all the grammar rules and learn all the vocabulary, max you'll be able to solve 3 questions. If you don't, you'll be able to solve say 1 or 2 questions. So it doesn't make that big a difference. Even if you go deep into it, it's going to consume a lot of time of yours, and I don't think it's worth it. So it's good to ignore it, or even if you want to give it some time, give it like half an hour a day and learn a few vocab words and grammar rules if you want to. And then there are going to be 2 parajumble based questions. Unlike XAT, the parajumble questions are going to have options, so it's going to be relatively easier, to solve these questions. Now what I would recommend is you shouldn't believe in speed reading in XAT at all. Time is not at all a concern in this exam. What you need is accuracy. Okay, so since most of the questions are going to be inference based, Hence, you need a really good understanding of the passage. So if you read at a comfortable slow pace, then you'll be able to comprehend the passage better. So what I would recommend is read the passage slowly. No need to read like really fast and stuff, and attempt at a decent pace. Just make sure that you're maintaining that good amount of accuracy, which is roughly about 80%, and that shall suffice. In the verbal section, if you can go about 20 attempts out of the 24 questions, then that's a pretty good attempt, and if you can maintain say about 80% accuracy, then it'll help you to fetch around 98.99%. Now the next section is the decision making section. This particular section you might not have come across, and this is a new section for most of the XAT aspirants. So what I would suggest is to either enroll for the Handa Ka Funda XAT decision making course or buy the decision making book by IMS, as these two are pretty good resources for this section and will help you to get acquainted with the section. And apart from this, what you can expect in this particular section are questions based on business issues, ethical dilemma, financial situations, etc. The questions will be like, there'll be some issue which is there's going to be some protagonists, there's going to be some characters involved. Then the whole issue is going to be presented in a structured manner. Then there are going to be questions based on that issue. And what you have to do is think in an ethical and moral manner, as if you are some big manager or some big company, and then go with the option which is the most right or the most correct one. So what I would suggest is you should focus on eliminating the 4 wrong options rather than selecting the 1 correct one, because it might happen that you come across the second option and feel that sounds like a correct answer, and you just mark and move on. But what about the other 3 options? It might be possible that there is a better option located somewhere down the line. Maybe the 4th option or the 5th option is better than the second one. So what I would suggest is go through all the options, eliminate the 4 wrong options, and choose the best and the most ethical option which is available out of the 5 given options. Now in this section, apart from these ethics and business ideas and financial based questions, you can expect 5 to 6 questions which are pure logical reasoning based, like the questions which were there in CAT, and these can be solved like easily. These are questions mostly based on say distribution, arrangements, etc. Now in this section, out of the 21 questions which are there, if you can attempt say about 17 questions, then that shall fetch you around 98.99 percentile in the decision making section. Now in the quant section, the questions are going to be a test of your application, of your fundamentals, how well you can apply those basics that you have learned. So what I would suggest is solve about 20 questions from each and every topic from whichever book you have, say books of any classes like Time, IMS, CL or Arun Sharma or Nishit Sinha. Solve the LOD 3 questions because those are mostly application based questions. And apart from this, you can revise all the concepts that you might have jotted down in some book, or you revise the concepts from any of the book that you have. And apart from this, the number of distribution of the questions which will be there in this section is as follows. Geometry will have about 5 questions, algebra 3 to 4 questions, arithmetic 3 to 4 questions, modern math about 3 questions, and numbers will have about 3 questions. And apart from this, there will be 8 questions, like 2 sets based on data interpretation. One set will be basically the IIFT based set where there will be a lot of graphs and a lot of calculation involved. And the second set will be something new which you have probably never come across throughout your practice that you have done. So XAT is known for bringing out one data interpretation set which is pretty unique. So no need to worry about it. It's not going to be something out of the box. It's just that the structure or the wording of the set will be a bit different. Just give it a read. If you understand it, well and good, solve it, crack it, and get all the 4 questions. If you don't, leave it. That's absolutely fine. Now in this section, out of the 27 questions, if you can attempt about 20 questions, then that's pretty good, and it'll fetch you, like if you maintain about 80% accuracy, that'll definitely fetch you around 98 percentile. There are a few must-have resources. The first one is previous year XAT papers from 2008 to 2017. You shall solve all these papers, and what I would suggest is to treat these papers as sectional tests. Say you're referring to XAT 2014 paper, then divide it into 3 sections, DM, verbal and quant section, and then treat each section like a sectional test and time each and every sectional test that you give. Suppose you're solving the DM section, which is decision making, then say give it about 50 to 55 minutes and see what's your accuracy, how much are you scoring, how many questions are you able to attempt, and in this manner you'll be able to give 10 sectional tests for each and every section. And that will help you to know what exactly are your strengths, what exactly are your weaknesses throughout the XAT paper. Apart from this, you shall enroll for the IMS mocks. The IMS mocks, I believe, are the best out of all the mocks that are available, simply because their verbal section is really good. See, most of the classes provide quant section. The quant section of their mocks is pretty good. The decision making is also not bad, but in terms of the verbal section, IMS provides the best mocks because the verbal section has questions which are exactly how will appear in XAT. Like most of the questions are inference based, they're going to be really close options, and hence it'll be a test of your application in reading comprehension, and hence I would suggest to enroll for the IMS mocks. Apart from this, you can buy any classes ka GK compendium, or you might have the same since you must have given IIFT, or you can buy a monthly magazine and study for about half an hour per day on a regular basis just to score that 5 to 6 marks in XAT GK. Now the last and what I believe is the most important thing is how exactly do you time your paper? How exactly do you divide those 170 minutes of verbal, quant and decision making and those 40 minutes of GK and essay? Now, the way in which I solve the XAT paper is as stated. The first 40 minutes I solve the verbal section. I attempt around 16 questions, and my strategy is to first get away with all the singletons, the grammar based, the vocab based, the parajumbles and critical reasoning questions, and then move to the RCs. So if you can attempt around 16 questions in 40 minutes, then that shall suffice. I'm assuming that throughout the XAT paper, you're going to take on an average 2.5 minutes per question. And this much time is more than sufficient to ensure a good amount of accuracy. So timing is not at all a problem in XAT. All you need to maintain is that good accuracy and score that 40 plus marks, and that shall, give you a really good percentile. Now after the first 40 minutes, the next 40 minutes you shall solve the decision making section. If you can attempt around 15 questions, then that shall suffice. Now see, what you got to remember is the initial questions that you're solving in the 40 minutes of verbal, or say the 40 minutes in decision making, shall be the easiest questions of the lot. Go through each and every set and pick a question depending on how difficult or easy it is. Now how will you know how difficult or easy a particular question is? That's where the mocks and the previous year's XAT papers that you have solved will help you all. Now 80 minutes are done. First 40 minutes verbal, first 40 minutes decision making. Now the next 50 minutes you shall solve the quant section. You can solve about 18 attempts, 18 questions, considering that you will take roughly 2.5 minutes per question. Now most questions, as I told you, will be application based. There will be some short story in the beginning. Ram is going to Ahmedabad, he's gonna drive in this particular car, and Sham is coming from somewhere, and there's gonna be some time, speed, distance, something that's going to be there, a short story, then some application. You just need to read the question well, interpret it, and then use your fundamentals that you have learned. That's it. It's not going to be some really difficult shit. Just don't get intimidated by the length of the question, because that's not going to work. The length is going to be pretty big. It's going to be a 5 to 6 line question, but if you give enough time to it, say about 2.5 minutes, you'll be able to crack that question. Now similarly in quant section as well, your strategy should be to divide the 50 minutes into two halves. First 25 minutes, pick the easiest questions in the lot. There will be about 10 questions which are easy questions based on NMAT or IIFT level. About 8 to 10 questions you can find out of the 27 questions which are there. The next 10 questions are going to be medium level questions. So if you can solve about 18 questions which are the easy and medium questions, the 50-minute mark, then it shall be awesome. So in this 40 and 50 minutes, you will be done with 16 attempts in verbal, 15 attempts in decision making, and 18 attempts in the quant section. And apart from making these attempts, you should have also cleared the sectional cutoffs by now. So the total time that has passed away is 130 minutes, and you have already cleared all the sectional cutoffs. Now what we have is 40 minutes in hand. Now the distribution of this timing is subjective based on, what's your strength, what's your weakness. You might give say 15 minutes to decision making, or even 20 minutes if that's your core strength. You might give 20 minutes to quant if that is your strength, or even to verbal, depending on whatever you have. But on a rough basis, you should give about 10 to 12 minutes to verbal, solve that RC passages which you might have left after the first 40-minute mark. And the next 10 to 12 minutes you can solve a decision making caselet. In the next 15 to 20 minutes solve those difficult quant section which you might have marked while you went across the quant section in the 50-minute mark. So in the total 170 minutes you would definitely be able to attempt around 60 questions, and if you can maintain about 80% accuracy, then bang, you will be able to crack that 99 percentile, and that will increase your chances significantly to convert the XLRI call. So this was it, people. I went through all the sectional strategies, the resources that will be needed to crack the XAT exam, and the understanding of the whole paper. So I will come up with more interesting videos. Till then, you can like my video and subscribe to my channel, and also post your valuable feedback so that I can improve at my upcoming videos. Thank you.